Tom lived in a small town where nothing exciting ever seemed to happen. His days were simple. He worked at a repair shop, fixing old machines, radios, and anything else people brought in. He liked machines because they made sense to him. Unlike people, machines followed rules. You just had to find the broken part, repair it, and everything worked again. One Saturday morning, Tom decided to walk to the local flea market. He did not go often, but sometimes he found tools or small gadgets he could fix and sell later. The market was full of strange stalls, colorful tents, and people shouting about cheap prices. Old books, rusty bikes, cracked watches, and dusty toys were everywhere. Tom walked slowly, looking with mild interest, until something unusual caught his eye. On a table covered with random junk sat what looked like a silver spaceship model. It was not like the plastic toys sold in shops. This one looked smooth, polished, and finely made, as if it had come from a real factory somewhere far away. It was about the size of a football with small glowing lines along its sides like patterns carved by light. Tom picked it up. It felt heavier than it looked, and the metal was cool under his fingers. He tapped it gently, expecting a hollow sound, but instead it rang with a deep, metallic tone. "How much is this?" Tom asked. The stall owner was an old man with a long coat and tired eyes. He looked at Tom and gave a small smile. $10, he said. Tom blinked. He thought the man was joking. "Only 10? It looks expensive." The old man shook his head. "It is not about the price. It is about who takes it. Some things are not meant to stay in one place forever. You can have it if you want, but remember, take care of what's inside." Tom frowned. He did not understand the strange words, but he thought maybe the old man was just trying to make a sale. Still, something about the object pulled at him. He took out his wallet, gave the man $10, and placed the silver spaceship carefully in his bag. As Tom walked away, he turned back once, but the old man and his stall were gone. The corner where the table had been was empty, as if he had never been there. Tom rubbed his eyes, thinking he was tired. Later that day, Tom sat at his workbench at home. His small room was filled with tools, wires, and parts of broken machines. He placed the spaceship on the table and studied it closely. The patterns of light across its surface glowed faintly, even though there were no batteries or switches. He searched for seams or screws, but found none. It was like one solid piece of metal. Curiosity grew stronger. He pressed one of the glowing lines with his thumb. To his shock, the object expanded, shifting and unfolding like a puzzle. In seconds, the small model grew larger, its panels sliding apart until it became the size of a real car. The walls of his room shook as the ship stretched beyond the edges of his workbench, forcing Tom to stumble backward. The silver object was no toy. It was a real spaceship. Tom stared, frozen with disbelief. He rubbed his eyes again, but the ship remained standing in the middle of his room, its surface gleaming with strange light. A low hum filled the air, like the sound of an engine awakening after a long rest. The front of the ship opened with a hiss, revealing a dark passage inside. Tom's heart raced. He told himself this could not be real, but at the same time, every sound and sight proved it was. He stepped closer, touching the doorway. The metal felt alive, warm under his palm. He hesitated for a moment, then took a deep breath and stepped inside. The interior was larger than he expected, with walls that seemed to stretch far beyond the outside shape. The floor glowed faintly, guiding him forward. Strange symbols moved across panels on the walls, shifting like living letters. As Tom explored, a soft voice echoed around him. It was not loud, but it carried a strange authority. "Welcome, human. You are the new keeper." Tom froze. "Who said that?" The voice did not answer directly. Instead, the walls lit up, showing star maps and unfamiliar galaxies. Tom felt dizzy. He reached for the nearest panel, but it changed before he touched it, showing new patterns and shapes. The voice returned. "Do not fear. The journey has chosen you." Tom's breath came fast. He did not understand. He was just a repairman from a small town. Why would a spaceship call him a keeper? He backed toward the door, but it closed behind him. Sealing with a low hiss, he was trapped inside. Panic rose in his chest, but then the lights dimmed and a calm feeling spread through him, as if the ship itself was trying to comfort him. Slowly, his fear turned into curiosity again. Tom looked around and noticed a sealed chamber at the center of the room. The glass cover was frosted, hiding whatever was inside. He stepped closer and wiped the surface with his sleeve. Through the mist, he saw the shape of someone lying inside. It was not human. His hands trembled. He stepped back, his mind racing with questions. What had he really bought for $10? Why had the old man told him to take care of what was inside? The hum of the ship grew louder and the chamber lights began to glow brighter. Tom realized something, or someone, was about to wake up. His life, once quiet and ordinary, was about to change forever. Tom stood frozen in front of the glass chamber. His breath felt heavy and his eyes stayed fixed on the shadowy figure resting inside. The hum of the ship grew stronger, almost like a heartbeat echoing through the walls. Slowly the frost on the glass cleared, and the figure inside became visible. It was not human. The form was tall, graceful, and unlike anything Tom had ever seen. The being lay perfectly still, eyes closed, with silver-like patterns running along her arms and shoulders. A long crest-like crown seemed to grow naturally from her head, glowing faintly under the chamber light. Even though she was asleep, there was something regal about her presence, as if she belonged to another world of power and authority. Tom stumbled back. His heart pounded in fear, but curiosity rooted him in place. He whispered to himself, "What have I brought home?" The chamber gave a sharp hiss. Steam escaped around the edges as the glass cover slid open. The figure inside stirred. Slowly her eyes opened, glowing softly with a strange blue light. She looked at Tom, and for a long moment neither moved. Then she spoke, her voice calm and steady. "At last I have awakened." Tom's mouth went dry. He wanted to speak but could not find words. She sat up with graceful movements, stepping out of the chamber. Though taller than Tom, her steps were light and silent. She looked around the ship before focusing her gaze back on him. "You are human," she said simply. Tom swallowed hard. "Yes, my name is Tom. Who are you?" She raised her chin slightly. "I am Mira, last queen of the Solari. This ship carried me across the void as I fled from those who destroyed my people. I have been in sleep for many centuries, waiting for a time when I might rise again." Her words struck Tom like thunder. "Queen destroyed people? Centuries?" He shook his head, still trying to process. "I don't understand. How did your ship end up here? Why me?" Mira studied him carefully, her glowing eyes seeming to pierce through him. "The ship chooses. It bonded with you because you are human. That is no accident. Your kind is not yet known in the wider galaxy, but your potential has been whispered about. Perhaps you are the reason I have awakened now." Tom felt his legs weaken. He dropped into the nearest seat, holding his head. "I was just at a flea market. I bought this for $10. I fix radios and engines. I'm nobody important." Mira tilted her head slightly, almost as if amused by his words. "To you, $10 may be a small trade. To me, this ship and my survival are priceless. Fate does not measure worth in coins. It measures in courage, choices, and the will to act." Tom stared at her, struggling to believe. Yet everything in front of him was real. The ship was real. The chamber was real. Mira herself was standing right there. "Why were you sleeping?" Tom asked quietly. Mira's expression darkened. The Solari Empire fell to an enemy known as the Vayrons. They are ruthless, consuming entire worlds, enslaving every species they conquer. My people resisted, but we were betrayed and I was forced to flee. This ship is the last vessel of my line. I went into cryo-sleep to survive until a new chance appeared. Tom shivered at the weight of her words. An enemy powerful enough to erase entire civilizations? He could hardly imagine it, so... "What now?" he asked nervously. Mira stepped closer. "Now we prepare. My enemies may already be searching. This planet is hidden for now, but it will not remain so forever. You are my keeper, Tom. You and I must learn to work together. Only then can we face what comes." Tom laughed weakly, though it was more from nerves than humor. "Work together? I don't even know how to fly a plane, let alone a spaceship." The Queen raised one hand and the ship's panels lit up. "You will learn. This vessel is linked to your mind. It responds to instinct, not only training. That is why it chose you. Humans think differently than most races I have known. You are unpredictable." "That may be the key," Tom frowned. Unpredictable sounds like a nice way to say clumsy. For the first time, Mira's stern face softened slightly, almost like a faint smile. Clumsy, perhaps. But sometimes clumsy hands can change the shape of destiny. Her words lingered in Tom's thoughts. He had always been ordinary, living a quiet life fixing machines. But now an alien queen was telling him that humans might hold the key to something greater. Mira began walking through the ship, and Tom followed reluctantly. She showed him the control chamber. The seat at the center was empty, waiting. Screens and glowing symbols surrounded it, shifting whenever Tom approached. "Sit," Mira commanded. Tom hesitated. "What if I break something?" "You will not break it." The ship bends to its pilot. "Try." With shaky hands, Tom sat in the seat. The moment he touched it, the panels lit up brighter. Strange symbols rearranged themselves, and the hum of the ship rose to a steady rhythm. Tom felt a strange pressure in his head, like someone whispering at the edge of his mind. What is happening?" he asked. "The ship is linking with you," Mira explained. "It is reading your thoughts, your instincts, your emotions. That is how it will obey you. Do not resist it. Let it flow." Tom closed his eyes, trying to calm his racing thoughts. Slowly, the feeling grew clearer. He could sense the ship, almost like it was part of his own body. He felt its engines, its systems, its hidden power waiting to be used. He gasped and opened his eyes. "I can feel it," Mira nodded. "Good. That is the first step." For the next hours, she guided him through simple exercises. He learned how to activate lights, adjust panels, and even move the ship slightly off the ground before setting it back down. His movements were clumsy at first, but he began to understand. As the training went on, Tom's fear slowly gave way to excitement. He was no longer just a repairman. He was sitting in a real spaceship, learning from a queen of another world. Still, doubt crept into his heart. When Mira finally let him rest, he asked the question that weighed on him. "Why me, Mira? Out of all the people on Earth, why would this ship pick someone like me?" The queen looked at him with calm eyes. "Because you are human, and humans may be more important than you realize. Your world is young, untested, and hidden, but you carry something many other species lost long ago, the will to fight against impossible odds." Tom fell silent. He did not fully understand, but something inside him stirred. For the first time in his life, he wondered if there was more to humanity than just surviving day to day. The ship dimmed its lights, signaling rest. Tom leaned back in the chair, exhausted but restless. Mira stood silently nearby, watching him with quiet patience. Neither spoke, but both knew one truth. The awakening of Mira was only the beginning, and somewhere beyond the stars, enemies were already on their way. The next morning, Tom woke to the sound of the ship humming softly. For a moment he thought it was a dream, but when he opened his eyes, the glowing walls of the vessel surrounded him. Mira stood nearby, silent but watchful, as if she had been waiting for him to wake. "Good," she said simply. "Today you learn to fly." Tom sat up quickly, still a little dazed.
"Fly? As in?"
"Actually leave Earth?" Mira nodded. "Yes, you have linked with the ship. Now it is time to see if you can guide it through the stars." Tom's stomach tightened with both excitement and fear. "I've never even been on a plane. And now you're telling me to pilot a spaceship?" "The ship is alive," Mira replied calmly. "It will listen to you. It is not about training in the way you imagine. It is about instinct. Trust yourself and it will carry you." Tom followed her to the control chamber where the central seat waited. He sat down and immediately the panels lit up, recognizing him. The hum grew louder, syncing with his heartbeat. He closed his eyes, letting the strange connection flow through him again. "Good," Mira said, placing her hand on the wall. "Now rise." Tom took a deep breath and focused. The ship responded. It lifted gently off the ground, the floor vibrating beneath his feet. Outside, he imagined his workshop trembling as the vessel pulled away from the Earth. He opened his eyes and saw the view on the screen ahead. His town below grew smaller, the building shrinking as the ship rose into the clouds. Tom's heart raced. I'm doing it." Mira's voice carried a hint of approval. "Yes, higher." The ship broke through the clouds, and the sky darkened into the black of space. Stars shone all around them, endless and bright. Tom gasped at the sight. The Earth floated below, blue and white and alive, more beautiful than he had ever imagined. "I have never seen anything like this," Tom whispered. Mira's eyes softened as she looked at the planet. "Your world is still untouched by the wars that plague others. Protect it well, Tom. It may be the last hope for more than just your kind." For a long moment, Tom simply stared. Then Mira gave a command. "Now test your control. Move forward." Tom thought about pushing ahead, and the ship obeyed. It glided smoothly into space, silent and powerful. He tilted his thoughts slightly, and the vessel turned gracefully. He tried again, moving left, then right, then spinning once in a slow circle. Each movement was clumsy at first, but the more he tried, the easier it became. "This is amazing," Tom said, smiling despite himself. "You learn quickly," Mira observed. "But flying is not only about movement. It is about facing danger. Let us see how you act under pressure." Tom looked uneasy. "Pressure? What kind of pressure?" Before she answered, alarms lit across the panels. Red symbols flashed, and the hum of the ship deepened. Tom felt it in his mind, the sense of something approaching fast. "What's happening?" he asked, panic rising. Mira's eyes narrowed. "They have found us. Drones of the Veyron. Small hunters, but dangerous if you are careless." Tom gripped the chair tightly. "Wait, we're being attacked already? I don't even know how to fight." "You will learn now," Mira said firmly. "The ship carries defenses. Trust your instincts." Through the screen, Tom saw 3 dark shapes rushing toward them. They were small, sharp-edged ships moving like predators. Bright red lights glowed at their fronts, ready to fire. The first blast came quickly, a streak of light flashing past the ship's side. Tom yelped and jerked the controls, spinning them away. The ship rolled awkwardly, nearly throwing him off balance. Mira steadied herself against the wall. "Focus, do not fear the blast, use the movement." Another drone fired, and Tom twisted his thoughts sharply. The ship dove downward, dodging the beam by inches. His hand shook, but something inside him clicked. He stopped thinking of the ship as a machine. Instead, he let his instincts guide him, like riding a bike downhill without overthinking. "Target them," Mira commanded. "How?" Tom shouted. "Think of striking back. The ship will respond." Tom clenched his teeth and imagined firing. At once, 2 panels opened on the sides of the vessel, releasing streams of blue energy. They shot forward, forcing the drones to scatter. Tom gasped. It worked. Mira's voice was calm but sharp. "Do not celebrate yet. They will circle around." Sure enough, the drones came again, weaving fast and firing together. Tom swerved, using wild movements to throw them off. He rolled, twisted, and even cut his engines for a moment to let the drones overshoot. Mira's eyes widened at his reckless moves, but she said nothing. One drone came too close, and Tom seized the chance. He thought of a strike, and the ship's weapons fired straight at it. The blast tore through the drone, breaking it apart in a burst of sparks. "That's one," Tom shouted. The other 2 drones circled tighter, angry and faster. Tom dodged again, sweat dripping down his face. He could feel the ship's strain, but also its trust in him. He spun sharply, surprising the drones, then looped behind one of them. With a quick thought, he fired again, destroying the second. The last drone tried to flee, but Tom chased it, weaving between its blasts. At the last second, he imagined the ship surging forward faster than ever. The vessel obeyed, slamming close, and his shot hit the drone head-on. The final enemy exploded in silence, fragments drifting into space. Tom sat back, gasping for air. His whole body shook with adrenaline. Mira looked at him with steady eyes. "Impressive. Your movements are wild, untrained, yet effective. You fight with instinct, not pattern. That is something the Veyron cannot predict." Tom laughed nervously. "I wasn't fighting. I was just trying not to die." "And yet you survived," Mira said. "That is what matters." Tom let out a long breath. He looked at Earth below, still shining quietly, untouched by the danger above. His fear began to fade, replaced by a strange pride. I think I can do this," he said softly. Mira gave the smallest nod. "Yes, and you must. The battles ahead will not be so simple, but today you proved something important. Humans are not helpless. You have courage, creativity, and the will to push beyond fear. That may be what saves us all." Tom sat quietly, her words echoing in his mind. He had never thought of himself as brave or important. But now, sitting in the pilot's seat of a living starship, with the Earth at his back and the stars ahead, he began to believe that maybe, just maybe, humanity could be more than he ever dreamed. The hum of the ship softened, steady and strong. Tom leaned back, exhausted but alive. For the first time, he felt not like a passenger, but like a captain. And though the battle was over, he knew the real war was only beginning. Tom stood at the center of the ship's control chamber, his hands hovering over the panels. Mira was beside him, her calm presence helping to steady his nerves. Outside, space stretched infinitely, and beyond the stars, small red dots blinked ominously. The Veyron fleet had arrived. "They have found your world," Mira said quietly. "And they are not just hunting me. They are looking to take Earth. If they succeed, your people will face what my people faced." Tom swallowed hard. He had seen the drones before, but this was different. These were massive ships, dozens of them, armed with weapons that could destroy cities in minutes. He had never faced anything like this. Fear clawed at his chest, but he forced it down. "We can't just fight them head-on," Tom said. "We're outnumbered," Mira nodded. "Correct. We must use strategy, not strength. You are human. That is why this ship chose you. Your instincts can surprise them." Tom looked at the stars, thinking. He saw the fleet slowly moving closer, like predators circling their prey. His mind raced, searching for a plan. Then he remembered the lessons Mira had taught him, the instinct-based thinking the ship responded to. "We'll use the planet's orbit," he said suddenly. "We can hide in the shadow of the moon, then strike from an unexpected angle." Mira raised her eyebrows in approval. "Clever. Yes, humans do think differently. Let us move." The ship responded immediately, gliding silently toward the moon. The Veyron ships did not notice them at first. The shadows of the lunar surface hid the vessel perfectly. Mira's eyes scanned the fleet as she prepared the ship's defenses. Tom took a deep breath and focused. He could feel the ship responding to his thoughts. He imagined paths, routes, and sudden movements. The vessel twisted and shifted as if it were alive, moving through space with a grace Tom had never thought possible. "Prepare the energy shields," Mira instructed. "They will detect us eventually." Tom's fingers hovered over the controls and the panels lit up. Shields rose, glowing faintly around the ship. The hum of the engines grew louder, resonating with his heartbeat. Then the attack began. The Veyron ships launched waves of energy blasts, sweeping across space toward them. Tom dodged instinctively, weaving in ways Mira would never have predicted. The first few blasts glanced off the shields, leaving sparks and light dancing across the vessel's surface. "They are faster than the drones," Mira said, watching the battle unfold. "But you are human. Your creativity is your weapon." Tom nodded, though his hands shook. He focused on the next wave, imagining movements that the enemy could not anticipate. The ship dove, spun, and rose in sudden bursts, avoiding the blast while coming closer to the Veyron fleet. Then he noticed something. The fleet moved in predictable patterns, their formations perfect but rigid. Tom realized he could use that. "Watch their movements," he said to Mira. "They repeat the same sequence. If we can break the pattern, we can hit them where they're weak." Mira's eyes glowed with approval. "Yes, trust your instincts." Tom guided the ship, imagining sudden shifts and unpredictable maneuvers. The Veyron ships faltered, their energy blasts missing as the human pilot twisted and turned. He fired the ship's energy weapons, hitting the nearest vessels one by one. Each strike was precise, surprising even Mira. "They are underestimating us," she said quietly. "This is what I spoke of. Humans fight with intuition, not logic. That is why your kind may survive where others fall." Tom gritted his teeth. The battle was far from over. More ships approached, faster and larger than before. He felt the pressure, but he also felt something growing inside him, a sense of courage he had never known. He was not alone. Mira was with him, and the ship itself trusted him. Suddenly, alarms blared. A massive Veyron warship appeared from behind a nearby asteroid, its size dwarfing the others. Tom's heart raced. "We can't take that head-on," he said. Mira nodded. "We will use the environment. Your world gave you imagination, and it will save you again." Tom thought quickly. He plotted a path around the asteroid field. The ship dove and weaved between rocks, using the terrain to hide from the massive ship's sensors. The Veyron vessel fired blindly, wasting energy on empty space. "Now," Tom said, and the ship surged forward, attacking the enemy at its weak points. Energy beams struck the warship's engines, slowing it down. The rest of the fleet hesitated, unsure how to react to such a bold move. "Keep moving," Mira shouted. "They cannot anticipate human strategy." Tom grinned despite the fear. He guided the ship through complex maneuvers, dodging blasts and striking where the enemy was weakest. The smaller ships fell one by one, while the massive warship was forced back, damaged and confused. Below them, Earth's cities sparkled peacefully, unaware of the battle above. Tom felt a surge of pride. This planet, his home, could remain safe because of him and the ship. Because of humans. Suddenly, Tom realized he was not alone in his courage. People from his town had seen the ship take off. Curious and brave, they had gathered near the launch site. Some ran to help, bringing small drones and equipment, improvising defenses under Tom's guidance. Their simple human tools, clever ideas, and teamwork added unexpected support. Mira's eyes widened. Your kind is extraordinary. Ordinary people working together can challenge forces much stronger than themselves. Tom nodded. He felt a strange sense of connection. Humanity, with all its flaws and simplicity, could rise to face impossible challenges. The Varons had not counted on that. With a final burst of energy, Tom led the ship in a coordinated strike. The massive warship was disabled and the remaining fleet scattered in confusion. Space fell quiet except for the soft hum of the ship and the distant stars. Tom slumped in his chair, exhausted but alive. Mira placed a hand on his shoulder. You have done more than survive. You have shown me what humans can do. Bravery, creativity, cooperation. These are your strengths, Tom smiled weakly. I never thought I could do any of this. I'm just a repairman. Mira shook her head. That is why you are perfect. Ordinary people can do extraordinary things. You are human, and that is your greatest power. Tom looked at the stars and then at Earth safe below. For the first time he understood. Humanity's true strength was not technology alone, not power alone, but spirit, courage, creativity, the will to act even when the odds seemed impossible. The ship hummed around him, a living presence acknowledging his leadership. Mira's eyes glowed softly, full of pride. Rest now, she said, but remember this is only the beginning. There are greater challenges ahead, and you, Tom, are ready to face them. Tom leaned back, closing his eyes. He felt tired but alive. He had faced impossible odds, guided the ship, and defended his world. Humanity had shown its hidden strength. And somewhere deep inside, Tom knew that the real journey was just beginning. The battle was over. The Varon fleet had retreated, scattered by Tom's instincts, Mira's guidance, and the clever strategies of humanity. For a long moment, silence filled the ship. The hum was steady and calm, no longer echoing alarms or red flashes. Tom leaned back in the pilot's seat, exhausted but alive, his heart still racing. Mira stood beside him, her eyes glowing softly. You have done more than I imagined. The Varons will think twice before returning. Tom shook his head, still catching his breath. I didn't do it alone. People from my town. They helped. They were brave, clever, amazing. Mira smiled faintly. Yes. Humans, even ordinary ones, can achieve extraordinary things when they work together. Today, your people have shown that spirit can defeat power. Tom looked at the earth below, calm and peaceful, still unaware of how close it had come to danger. He felt pride but also a sense of responsibility. This was no longer just a strange adventure. Humanity had become part of something bigger. We need to prepare for the future, Mira said, her tone serious. The Varons will not give up easily. They will return. We must be ready, Tom nodded. Then we'll learn. We'll train. We'll protect Earth. And maybe more than that. Mira's eyes glowed brighter. You understand? Your kind has a unique ability. Adaptability, creativity, courage. I have traveled the galaxy, and I have seen many powerful races. None can match what humans can do when they believe in themselves. For the next few days, Tom worked tirelessly. Mira guided him through advanced controls, teaching him tactics and strategy. Tom learned quickly, relying on both logic and instinct. Slowly, he became not just a pilot but a leader, someone who could inspire others to act bravely in the face of danger. People from his town joined willingly. They learned from Mira and Tom, helping repair ships, build defenses, and even strategize new ways to protect Earth. They were ordinary humans, but under Tom's leadership, they became something extraordinary, a team capable of standing against a galactic threat. One evening, Tom stood on the ship's observation deck watching the stars. Mira approached quietly. You are different from what I expected, she said softly. I thought humans were fragile, untested, small. I was wrong. Your kind can rise to any challenge. Courage, intelligence, and determination. These are your true strengths. Tom smiled faintly. I used to think I was ordinary, just fixing radios, living quietly. I never imagined this. You imagined it, Mira corrected. You acted. That is why the universe has taken notice. The ship chose you because it saw your potential. Now you must continue to grow. Your people are ready to rise with you. Tom felt a surge of pride. He was no longer a simple repairman. He was a captain, a leader, and a symbol of humanity's potential. The next day, he led a training session outside the ship. The small team of humans had learned to pilot basic craft, to communicate over long distances, and to think quickly in battle. Mira watched as Tom explained strategy, pointing at screens, giving instructions, and encouraging his team. This is what it feels like, Tom said to himself quietly, to be part of something bigger. Later, Mira took him aside. There is one more thing, Tom. The ship has chosen to bond with you. It recognizes you as its captain permanently. You are not just a pilot. You are part of it now as it is part of you. Together you can face the galaxy. Tom touched the central control panel. The ship hummed in response, lights flowing across the walls. He felt it inside him, alive and ready, waiting for his commands. It was no longer just a machine, it was an extension of himself, a partner in the battles yet to come. Days turned into weeks. Tom and Mira worked to strengthen defenses, scout the stars, and prepare humanity for the inevitable return of the Vayrons. Yet despite the work and the seriousness, there was a growing sense of hope. Humans were capable. They were clever. They could face anything. One evening, Tom looked at Mira and asked, "Do you really think humanity can survive against the Vayrons?" She smiled softly. "I have seen your spirit. I have seen your courage. Yes, not only survive but thrive. Your kind can grow stronger, not just in numbers or weapons, but in creativity and heart. That is something no enemy can destroy." Tom felt a warmth in his chest. He looked out at the stars, imagining all the worlds beyond Earth, all the possibilities. The ship hovered silently, ready to take him anywhere, to face any challenge, and for the first time he truly believed in the future. Then a message arrived from deep space. Small blinking lights appeared on the screen, a signal from another planet. Mira studied it and nodded. The Vayrons are far from finished, but there are allies, races that remember the Solari. They have seen your actions. Your bravery has inspired others. The galaxy will begin to notice humans. Tom smiled. So this is just the beginning. Yes, Mira said. A new dawn is coming. Not just for you, not just for Earth, but for humanity. Your species is young but full of potential. The universe has never faced anything like you. Tom turned to look at Earth, peaceful and bright below. He remembered the $10 spaceship he had bought, thinking it was just a small model. He smiled at the memory. That small, ordinary choice had led to something extraordinary. Mira placed a hand on his shoulder. You are ready, Tom. The journey ahead will test you, but humans can rise to any challenge. You have already proven it, Tom nodded. Then let's show the galaxy who we are. The ship's hum rose, steady and strong. Outside, stars sparkled like diamonds on black velvet. Earth remained safe, its people unaware of the battles fought above. But humanity had changed forever. Tom, once an ordinary repairman, now sat in the captain's seat of a living starship, an alien queen by his side, and a future filled with limitless possibilities. A new dawn had arrived, not just for Earth, but for humanity. Brave, creative, and full of courage, humans were ready to reach the stars. And Tom knew that together with Mira, with the ship and with his fellow humans, they could face anything the galaxy had to offer. The stars called to them, endless and bright, and for the first time, Tom smiled with confidence, hope, and pride. The adventure was far from over, but humanity had found its place among the stars. And so, the $10 spaceship, the alien queen, and the ordinary young man from a small town became the beginning of something greater, proof that humanity, when united and brave, could shine brighter than any threat in the universe.